Hey, this is Paul Roma. Give me back my pro wrestling.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Come heat up your summer over at Captain's Corner, the purveyor of all things wrestling. We'll be working with stars like Wheeler Yuta, King Haku, Coco Beware, and many more in the months of July and August. Also, make sure to mark down September 20th on the calendar as we present Slam Fest 2025. Montreal's first ever pro wrestling convention will be presented by Captain's Corner and our friends at LWA. Featuring The Godfather, Barry Windham, The Godwins, Doink and Dink the Clown, and a dozen additional stars. It all happens at Ruby Foods on the 20th of September. Make sure to check us out on both Facebook and Instagram at Captain's Corner. Cheers to the working man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and I'm here as always with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. Doing good. Living life. But to complete this package, I brought a little charisma with me.
Oh, you brought the Territory Wrestling Guru, the co-host with the Mo-host, and the star of this month in wrestling history?
You know it.
Oh, man. What's up, Q? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Man, doing all right.
Living life.
Yeah. To kind of start things off, we do have a little bit of a bummer in our family. I want to say, rest in peace to our uncle Eddie Ball. He passed away a couple days ago, and it's been a sad moment for our family. So if y'all just keep us in your prayers, we greatly appreciate it. He was the angel of our family easily. So
yeah.
Thank you for the prayers, and we greatly appreciate it. To come out of that, we do have an excellent show today. We have an awesome guest, somebody I never thought we would have, and mainly because I never thought we would ever get a Four Horsemen, but you know what? Never say never, because when your buddy is Captain's Corner and you have nothing but hope and positivity, you eventually get a Four Horsemen. And today we have one, the one and only Paul Roma. Guys, he's going to be at Canada's Slam Fest September 20th in Montreal at the Montreal Wrestling Convention, Hotel Ruby Foods, 7655 Descaries Boulevard, with our buddy at Captain's Corner Nick. Anyway, guys, Paul Roma, I'm stoked about this one. What do y'all think?
The more of these guests we get, the more I'm wanting to book a trip to Montreal. I've never been to that part of Canada, so it's making me more and more want to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think Jocelyn would be okay with me booking a trip for a wrestling show? I don't know. Maybe.
I do. I think she would be. Yeah. So
you can speak for her, right?
yeah. What's your nearest airport, Quinton?
Oh, Nashville.
Okay, so Nashville. We'll need a ticket out of Nashville. We'll need a ticket out of Roanoke, or for you, Jared, and Charlotte for me.
Or Asheville. I might just drive to Charlotte if it was.
Yeah, just come on down, and we'll fly out, and we'll see Quinton up in Montreal, and Jocelyn will be glad to do that. I'm sure. Just say, hey, it's fine. No, she wouldn't like that, but we would love that. And yeah, maybe one day we can come up there to one of them conventions with Nick and say hey to him. That would be a lot of fun. Speaking of a convention, guys, I was at an incredible one last weekend of what appeared to be an incredibly busy weekend for everybody. Guys, I got to go to the Gathering here in my backyard in Charlotte. And man, I got to meet some great people. The first guy I went for was, of course, our buddy and former guest and future guest again, Boris Zukov. Boris says, hey, fellas. He was doing awesome. It was cool to see him.
Yeah, it was great to see the pictures of him. I wish I could have been there. A little more planning, and I probably could have been. I should have tried to ask you about it a little more and figure it out. But it is what it is. But it would have been a great time. But I'm very jealous of that. And you got your childhood dream, your Shawn Michaels moment or something like that, I believe, with one of the people you met.
Well, speaking of Shawn Michaels, if he lost his smile, by golly, this weekend I gained mine. I got to meet Ted Arcidi, and for guys like probably Quinton,
If you know, you know.
if you know, you know, but if you don't know, you probably think I'm the weirdest dude alive. But here's the thing. As a kid, anybody that knows me, as a kid, when we were playing with the LJN figures, for some reason, the wrestler Ted Arcidi, his action figure just registered with me. It was probably just, it was just
it's a very good figure for somebody who really didn't do that much in WWF. It's a really good figure.
Yeah, his predominant stuff, I guess, was in World Class. I've heard a lot of his better stuff was in World Class. From what I've seen, I can agree with that. But man, anyway, yeah, he was super cool. Here's this funny part. So we're standing in line to meet him and get a picture with him, and I'm standing there, and guys are talking to him, and everybody is talking about the LJN with him, and it was really cool. So when I get there, I shake his hand. I say, "Sir, I just want you to let you know how much your action figure meant to me as a kid. It was so cool. Then I learned about you, got to watch some great matches with you and Big John Studd and stuff." And I said, "I know you probably hear this all the time, but I have a podcast." And he was like, "Oh, well, you got to have me on." And Jared, you know as much as anybody that he could have said anything, but saying that is all I needed to hear. And so he then proceeded to give me his phone number. And Nick from Captain's Corner can attest to this, because every other text I would send him, I'd be like, "What about Ted Arcidi?" So, and then of course, Jared, Quinton, you both know how much I've wanted Ted. But yeah, man, Ted was really cool. Got to meet some really cool people. There was a ton of guys there. Muda was there. I didn't get to meet Muda. I did see him. I was in general vicinity of him, but I didn't get to meet him. The Fabs were there, Steve and Stan, which was cool to see that. I didn't get to meet them either, but man, their lines were just so long. That those one-day conventions when guys are just there for a day, it really adds to the lineups. But I met Sam Houston, Jackie Fulton. Jackie said he's going to come on the podcast. George South, he's always willing to come on the podcast to talk to him about the Shane Martin action figure story. So that was a good conversation to have. And golly, who else did I meet? I met Arn Anderson, Jared, of course. How can I forget? I met Double A.
Yeah, give me a shout out in your picture. You had the Plastic Sheik sticker up. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there, and I actually left that sticker with him. So if we never talk to Arn, if you never meet Arn, just rest in the fact that at least for 15 minutes, Arn had a Plastic Sheik. Not sure what happened to it after that, but we hope Arn treasures that as much as you've treasured his career.
Exactly.
He's like, "You know what? I don't know what it is, but I'm going to have to put
this sticker feels special to me. My spot, my sticker."
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to put this sticker in my spot.
My spot.
I hope he's saying that. I mean, I'm sure he's not, but I hope he is.
Yeah, and I got to hang out with our buddy, still real to me, Dave Wills. Dave's awesome, man. Dave is your connection, man. He walks around and these wrestlers come to him. It's crazy. So I was standing there with him talking to Jackie Fulton. Then I was talking, and then the Rock and Rolls came up and talked to Dave. I mean, it was just cool, man. So, Dave, it was good seeing you, buddy. To all the wrestlers, it was awesome seeing you. But to the gathering and that promotion, y'all run a top-notch convention, and I got to take my hats off to you. And fellas, y'all got to come down next year, man. We got to do this again. So
sounds good to me. I'd love to.
All right. Well, Quinton, book your Greyhound, brother. And Come on down, buddy. I think it would be a lot of fun, and we could even possibly set up a booth, but we can talk about that later. Our buddy Gene Jackson discussed that a little bit with me, and who knows, maybe we can make something happen with that. But we'll put a pin in that right now.
Did you have to resist when you saw Muta like breaking into Gary Hart like Muta?
I had to resist a lot with Muta because I was getting low on funds. And, yeah. And I was like, yeah, sorry, Muta. I feel really bad about this, but I got to go over here to Arn Anderson. And I wanted to meet the Fabs, and Nikita was there. But, I don't want to say this in a negative light, but Quinton, I think you'll understand this. Some of them dudes, if you walk over there with $1, it's going to leave your pocket. And they can, some of them guys can smell money out of your pocket. I truly believe it. And,
Oh yeah.
And that's a talent and good for them. But yeah, so I was very cautious. The other cool thing is, we've been trying to do a Hoot Gibson podcast, a Hoot Gibson tribute show. Our buddy Jamie Combs, who's one of the only people I know that's actually I can talk to about it and actually seen Hoot wrestle and knows Hoot. And then also we got Ronnie Garvin committed to doing the Hoot Gibson podcast with us. So y'all just Quinton, start looking up some Hoot stories. That's cool. I got Ronnie Garvin's number, and I got to thank Jamie and his wife Beth for hooking us up with that. So Quinton, start looking up some Hoot questions, brother.
And the original Hoot, not Robert Gibson Hoot, which I would also love that interview, but that's a whole different story.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, enough about that, guys. We had an incredible episode last week. Everybody's given us great reviews on that. Sean Schultz, man, what a great interview. What a great guy. What'd y'all think of that?
I thought fabulous. I mean, like, you never know. I mean, I say it all the time. I feel like a broken record on here, but you never know sometimes what you're going to get out of a person unless you know them. And like, I've seen some of his stuff, but didn't know him. But like, got on here and it was just so smooth, such a smooth conversation that it's I think right up there with our best.
Yeah. And Quinton, one thing I got to give you props on. First off, great questions the entire show. But that last question about his testimony, man, that was a chef's kiss right there. That was an incredible story. So.
Yeah, I was wanting to bring it up because I know how, a lot of the boys, it's crazy business, crazy life. And, he's, turned his life around and everything. So I figured I'd bring that up because I always like getting to hear the guys talk about, the testimony of,
Yeah. No, like I said, it was a great finishing story. Like I even said in the show, it was weird to have to bring up the favorite match after that because it was such a great, I like finishing on great stories, and I thought his testimony was one of those. So, but hey, great show. Thank you again, Sean. That was incredible. I realized we didn't even get to the TNA gut check. I mean, we missed a lot of stuff. So maybe there's a part 2 there that we can get to in the future, but I feel like Sean could probably easily fill up another 2 hours worth of stories. So, just look for that down the road. But today, guys, once more, thanks again to Captain's Corner for this one. The man himself, Paul Roma, guys. Y'all ready to get him on the line?
Yeah, let's get him.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages with more from Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you, guys. Be blessed.
All right, we are back with more from the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And Jared and Quinton, we've got an extra special one today. This is another one from our buddy Nick at Captain's Corner. He's going to be at September 20th at Canada Slam Fest in Montreal, the Montreal Wrestling Convention at Hotel Ruby Foos. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one and only Paul Roma. Mr. Roma, thank you for coming on the show today.
No, hey, listen, it's a pleasure. You know, I dig Canada. Wherever I've gone to in Canada, throughout Canada.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had a great time. The people are phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to coming in.
That's cool, man. How long has it been since you've been up that way?
I believe last year I was up in the Toronto area.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really strange. I'm that person who goes, gets back, and then kind of forgets about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I tell people, I don't want to clutter my brain with different things. I want to clutter my brain with stuff that's important. And, you know, some people get it and some people don't. But, September 20th, Mario Mancini, myself, and, looking at Slam Fest, there's a host of other phenomenal people that are going to be there.
Yeah, we talked to Mark Canterbury, Henry Godwin. I know Barry Windham is going to be there. Bronwyn Billington, Dynamite Kid's daughter. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a star-studded affair, just like you said. Absolutely. But the most important person that's there today is Paul Roma. So, Sheik, you always take the first question, so take it away.
All right, sir. So if you, this question is going to let the listeners know a little bit about you and let us get to know a little more about you in the wrestling business. If you had a list, 4 or 5 names, like a Mount Rushmore of wrestling, people you like to work with, people you like to watch growing up, whatever, who would those like 4 or 5 names be?
Well, all right. So, just to stay on course, I didn't watch wrestling growing up.
Okay.
I know it sounds crazy, but
it's all right.
Hell, I didn't know who Hulk Hogan was when I was in the locker room. I turned to Mario Mancini and said, "Who's that?" And he says, "That's Terry Bollea." And I said, "So who's that?" He goes, "That's the champ." And I'm like, "Well, what the hell does that mean to me?" And Mario tells it a little different, but at the end of the day, it kind of all mashes together and all that.
Yeah.
So I think the guys that were great, really great to work with, the Rockers.
Oh yeah.
The Orient Express.
Oh yeah.
You got Mr. Perfect. You got Harley Race. I worked alongside of SD Jones in the very, very beginning when we went down to Australia. So that was a blessing to start out. Fuji trained me, so he was my mentor. And when I was introduced to, I had met Andre in New Haven Coliseum, and I wasn't wrestling that night. I just went there. You bring your gear and all that, and I met him and went and said hello to him, and he was very cordial to me. What I didn't know was that there's different stages of knowing Andre the Giant. So you can know Andre with a "Hey boss," or you can know Andre with a "Hey," grabs your hand and throws that other big mitt on your shoulder and "Nice to see you, boss," he'll say to you, and So when I had met him, there's Andre. Oh my God, I lost my hand shaking his. It was gone. It was like shaking a catcher's mitt. So then Fuji, later on down the line, and I don't know what arena we were at, Fuji calls me over, and Andre's sitting there, and he says, "Come here. I want you to meet the boss." So okay. So I walk over, and he goes, "Boss, this is my student, Paul Roma." And he goes, "Oh, nice to meet you, boss," like that. So I was like, wow, okay. Hey, but it was it wasn't like the first one. He shook my hand, didn't pay me no mind, didn't really care. Who gives a shit who you are, kid? You know what I mean? Now it was a more respectful thing. And then he quickly said, "Do you play cards?" Meaning cribbage. And I said, "No, I don't." And he says, "Okay, sit down. We'll play for money and I'll teach you." And I thought that was the funniest thing in the world because, you're going to teach me how to play and we're playing for money. There's no way I'm winning. You know what I mean? There's no way I'm winning.
I don't know if I want to take money from Andre anyway.
Right? So we played. I only lost like $5. It was no big deal. And he was really good about teaching me because I ended up becoming, while I was on the road, pretty decent at cribbage.
Yeah.
And then he says, where are you tomorrow? And I said, well, I'm in, say, Milwaukee. And he goes, so am I. Get to the arena early. We play again. I was like, okay. So I got to the building early, and we sat down and we played. And it built a nice little bond, which I thought was great.
Dude, that is awesome.
Great story. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said Fuji's your trainer. Okay, how did you, because I know back then wrestling schools, they wasn't promoted or nothing. So how did you get Fuji to train you? How did that happen?
All right, so I originally went to Tony Altamori's school.
Okay.
And that was in Orange, Connecticut, at Passarella's Quest at his gym. And I walked in, and listen, back then, everything was such a work. Everybody was beating everybody for every dime and nickel. It was just horseshit.
Yeah.
So I go in and, I said, hey, I want to join the school. Okay. I forgot what it was back then, a couple grand, whatever it was. So he goes, but you got to join the gym. And I said, well, I belong to a gym already. He goes, well, that's part of the deal. I'm like, so now that's another like $300? Like, what a load of crap this is. Like you're scamming. You're forcing your gym down my throat, and I already belong to another gym. Now, back in my day, back then, you didn't join for a month. You didn't go month to month. You joined for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was no monthly fees put on your credit card. It's $300 a year. Okay. It's $200 a year. Okay. Whatever gym you went to. So I had to join. I had to eat the money from my other gym because I'm going to utilize this gym down here, right? I mean, what the hell? I'm not going to 2 gyms now. So Mario and I became friends and, acquaintances. Let's just say acquaintances back then. We later on became friends as we started to travel together. Well, Fuji got a hold of us. We went to New Haven Coliseum, and Fuji got a hold of us. And he said, I want to work with you guys. I want to teach you. So he says, every show that we're around here, you get there early, and I'm going to work with you guys. So that's what he did. And, he just, anytime I was on the road, as I started on the road, because he had said to me in New Haven Coliseum, I go, hey, Fuji, what's up? And he says, oh, Uncle's moving. And I went, oh, yeah, where are you moving to? So he says, Tennessee. Oh, okay. Yeah. I said, you need any help? And he looks at me, kind of like taken back. And he says, yeah. I said, well, what are you moving? He goes, my house. I said, so you're like your entire house? He goes, yeah. And I said, well, how are you doing it? He goes, well, I'm going to get a truck, a U-Haul, basically. And I said, well, how many rooms you have? So he told me. And I said, well, when are you moving? When do you need my help? He goes, well, let's just say, Saturday. I went, okay, I'll bring some guys. So he goes, all right. So I call up my friends who are wrestling fans. And they're like, are you kidding me? Oh, yeah, dude, we're going. So we go up there, and we basically move his entire house into that truck in no time.
Wow.
Legit. These guys my friends were humping, and they were not little guys. They're all, weightlifters, so they were strong guys. So we get back, he makes his move, like we leave, and then I don't know how long later after that, maybe less than a week, I get a big fruit basket sent to my house. And it says, thank you from, Fuji, Uncle Harry, and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, wow, that was nice of him. He didn't have to do that, So then I find out that when somebody tells you they're going to be there, they don't show up. That's the rib. That's the big rib they play on everybody. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll bring a bunch of guys, no problem. And they never show.
Yeah.
Well, when I showed up with an entourage of people ready to, hump and get this house moved, he was blown away. So now he calls me up and says, hey, what are you doing? And I said, nothing. He goes, get your gear. Have your wife drop you off at my house. And I'm like, why? He goes, we're going to Maine. And I was like, all right, for what? I mean, that's the first question, right? He said, well, I'm wrestling. I went, okay. He goes, just bring your gear. I was like, okay. Have your wife drop you off. I said, okay. So she drops me off, and we get in the car, and he's driving, and we take off. And I don't ask any questions. Maybe what arena it is, but other than that. So we're just shooting the shit, talking, and then he stops, and because he has to, take a piss, and he goes, "You drive," and I'm like, "Okay." So I slide over and I drive his car, and we get to the building, and we walk in, and Chief Jay Strongbow's there. He's the agent, and he says, "Mr. Roma," and she always called me Mr. Roma. Nice to see you, but you're not booked. And I said, "No, I know, Chief." I said, "I came up with Fuge." He goes, "Oh, okay, just as long as you know." I'm like, "No, yeah, it's fine. I took the ride with him. No big deal." So I'm basically hanging outside the locker room, seeing the arena, what's going on. And Fuji comes out and he goes, "Get dressed." And I went, "But I'm not working." He goes, "Yes, you are. You're working. You're taking my spot."
Oh,
and I
man.
went, "Okay." So, I change. I'm happy as a pig in shit. And I go and wrestle.
Mm.
Then, we skedaddle on home, and I'm this, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid because, that was big, right?
Yeah.
Huge. I didn't expect it. And then they threw me in. And so then we go to another place. And Fuji calls me up. And he's like, "Come on." And I'm like, "Where are we going?" So he says, whatever, And I'm like, "Okay, bring your gear." I was like, "Yeah, I know. Always bring your gear," And I'm not booked, and I'm booked again. And so I started to understand afterwards. I got a sit-down conversation from other guys, other veterans, the Harley races of the world. The guys that have been there, that have been burned by other guys, right? "Hey, I'm at this hotel. I need a ride." "Oh, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And they never show. And it's a big joke, right? That's the funny thing. They leave you high and dry. Well, they brought me up to speed, which was basically that. So Fuji never expected me to show up. He just thought I was, giving him the I'll be there. And it was never going to happen. So when it happened, he was like, "Wow, this guy's a stand-up guy." The wrestlers back then aren't like that. And they weren't. Trust me when I tell you, they weren't like that. So we formed a bond. I remember I came out of the ring and Frenchie Martin, I was right behind him. I was going to get into a fight with Frenchie Martin.
Mm.
And Fuji grabbed me. And he goes, "Hey," like that. He saw I was pissed. And I was verbalizing to Frenchie. I was right behind him. And he calls me over. And I said, "Fuji, I'm going to kick his ass." And he goes, so he says, what happened? So I told him what happened. He goes, "Go change." I said, "No, Fuji, I got to kick his ass." He goes, "Go change now." He goes, "Uncle, take care of this." So I went in my locker room. I changed. He came in and grabbed me. And he goes, "Uncle took care of it. It's all good." So I was, coming down off that, being pissed.
Yeah.
That was the end of it because he protected me. I was from Fuji, and nobody messed with Fuji.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much juice he really had, but he had juice, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
So the match you was actually working Frenchie Martin, right?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if he was your partner. Okay. So I got another question. So early on, did you ever work any of the Northeast Independents early in your career?
So Tony Altimore got us booked. I'm going to forget his name. Italian guy around here in the Connecticut area. Savaldi, that's it. Good man. So we wrestled for Savaldi, even if it was up in Maine or New Hampshire. He would get us gigs.
Okay.
To basically, get in front of people and learn how to work.
Yeah.
But he never showed you. You understand? Like when I came into the school, I was at TV, and like 6 weeks later, they were sending me to TV.
Yeah.
And Mario goes, "You don't understand how big this is." And I'm like, "No, you're right. I don't understand. I don't understand anything about wrestling." So, whatever you're telling me doesn't mean shit to me because I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then I went to TV, and I did jobs for whomever. And I was like, yeah, this isn't what I had in mind. I had gotten into wrestling, become a role model for kids because of my baby sister who was born with Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. And I want to be an inspiration. I want to inspire them. Yeah. This is not working. I can't be a role model if I don't get recognition. So, by that time, a couple of years went by. I figured things were going to change. Mario kept saying, they can't deny you. They can't deny you. You look better than everybody. You're a good-looking dude, blah, blah, blah. So finally, it came to, a head. And we were at TV in Poughkeepsie, and Fuji was sitting there, the stairs where we walk up to go out into the arena and leave. And I said, all right, Fuji, I'm all done. So he says, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I said, no, I'm all done. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm not coming back. And he goes, what? I said, I'm not coming back. I said, Fuji, let me explain something to you. Now, remember I kickboxed, which was legit. I didn't box just then, but I got in multitudes of fights growing up. And it was always to win. I played football to win, baseball to win. Everything I played was to win, not to do this, lay down and let somebody beat you. The first time, I think it was the first time I came down, I went over to Mancini and I was fuming. And I said, I'm going to take him out in the parking lot and kick the shit out of him right now. He goes, you can't do that. I'm like, well, yes, I can. I could kick the shit out of him. And he goes, no. You're not, this is like, it's a work. And right, exactly right. So, that it was very difficult for me. I didn't really grasp it. I laid on my back, but, I thought, well, look at the physique I have, and I can work if you give me the chance. What got me my break was actually my drop kick. I drop kicked John Studd. I hit him right off the top of his forehead. And
yeah, it was beautiful.
Tell him that he drop kicks every match. So that's what the chief told me. The Caesar says you drop kick. He wants you to drop kick every time you get in the ring. I'm like, okay, So going back to it, so Fuji looks at me and goes, no. I said, Fuji, I quit. I said, listen, not to be a jerk, but I'm better looking. I got one of the best bodies out there. I could wrestle. You let me. I could wrestle. I said, and I'm just getting beat every night. I said, it's not what I had in mind. I said, I can't. I've had enough. I'm done. So he goes, oh, look, promise me you'll come back tomorrow. I said, nah, Fuji, I can't do that. I'm done. I've had enough. He goes, no. I'll talk to Caesar. He says, just promise me you'll come back. So I said, okay, I'll give you my word. I'll be back. So I came back. And they put me in a match. They told Salvatore Bellomo that he had to be beat, not me. And he lost his mind. And they said, take it up with Vince. And they basically told him, you don't like it? Pack your bags and go. This kid's not getting beat. So then they started booking me on the road. And so I was like, okay, so I'm getting beat, but at least I'm making money. I'm getting notoriety, right?
Yeah.
So that helps. You know, that helps a little bit. It was, and my people didn't understand me. And, when I finally got with Hercules, he got it. He understood. And he goes, you're really not crazy, are you? And you're not you're really not up. He goes, I get you now. And I said, yeah, dude. I said, I'm trying to tell you. I said, listen. He goes, yeah, but people should get to know you. I said, let me explain something to you. So we bring each other up to speed about Paul. Paul doesn't give a shit if they like me or not. I'm not here for them. I'm here on a mission. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And Perfect said it best. When I turned heel, Perfect grabbed me and he goes, can I tell you something? I said, absolutely. He goes, you're not going to hit me, right? I said, no, Kurt, I'm not going to hit you. I said, come on, tell me. He goes, what'd you think? I said, I thought it sucked. Turning heel, I wasn't happy. Jack Lanza grabbed me as soon as I came out of the ring. Or before, I apologize. Before I went in the ring. And he told me what to do as a heel. And he goes, yeah, forget all that, Paul. He goes, do this for me. Tomorrow night, I'll watch your match again. He goes, and don't hit me. be that guy that walks into the locker room that everybody can't stand. And I went, okay, I could do that. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you got that strut about you. You walk in, you're just so confident. He goes, and the guys hate it. They can't stand you for that. And I was like, done. So I went out in the ring the next night, and then I kissed my bicep. I started doing the whole shebang. I felt so great. I got out of that ring. He met me, as I was walking, and he goes, how'd that feel? I went, great. He goes, it was great. He goes, that's what you do every night. You just be you. Just act like you. And I went, okay. So what I did was, what I put in perspective, I said, what if I was sitting in the audience and I was watching me in the ring? What would make me want to get up and beat the shit out of me?
Mm-hmm.
What would make me want to get out of my chair, jump the rail, and beat the shit out of me? So I started doing all those things that I knew would piss somebody off.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And then I came up with Power and Glory.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, man.
So jump back here a little bit with me. So in early '87, you and Jim Power started teaming.
Yes.
Did the office plan to put you all together from the start, or did it just kind of happen and they thought they had something? Or
they thought they had something. Jimmy tells me a different story. I thought it was Las Vegas, and in my brain, it's etched that it was Las Vegas, but he tells a different place. Not that it matters, but so he comes up to me as I'm coming in, and he says, "Hey, listen to this. They're going to put us together." And, well, it made sense. We looked alike, right? Same height, kind of like the same builds. Anyway, so I went, "Oh, that's great." He goes, "Yeah, they want to call us the Italian Stallions." And I said, "Beautiful." He goes, "No, I'm not Italian." I went, if they want you to be black, be black.
Right.
What does it matter? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Think about it. They made, look what they did to all the different characters.
Right.
You had Tony Atlas that was like out of Africa after he was Mr. USA here in America.
Jay Strongbow, look at him, so.
Jay Strongbow, he's Italian.
Right.
He's played an Indian. Come on.
Right.
So he's like, well, and he's really upset about it. I'm Greek, and I'm like, dude, come on. If they're going to give us a push, be whatever they want us to be. It's not bad. So needless to say, they switched it and they came out with Young Stallions.
Very cool.
Okay,
cool.
Fine.
Yeah.
They were going to give us the belts. We were headed for the straps. But what happened was Jimmy got a phone call at his room and was asked to do some pretty nasty things or let some people do some nasty things to his body, homosexual things. They said, you could just lay there. We'll give you drugs. We'll give you money, whatever you want. And he went to Arnold Skolin, who was another agent, and he told on them. Well, when he told me what happened, I said, okay. He goes, well, I said, so what are we going to do, dude? You know what I mean? He goes, oh, I took care of it. I went to Arnold. And I went, you what? He goes, yeah, me and Arnold are friends. I went, are you kidding me, dude? Seriously? You went to Arnold Skolin. You just killed us. Oh, no. I said, oh, no, you killed us. Because who's Arnold going to tell? The person in charge who did it, who propositioned you? Do you think he's going to get fired? Seriously, and how good of friends are you with Arnold Skolin? Right? It's not like your blood. And if you were blood, he would have told you to shut up and just, go on your merry way. So, to this day, up until this day, now that Jimmy and I had started doing some autograph shows together, he needs to stop because I've told him stop. He apologizes repeatedly, and I told him you don't have to. You said you're sorry. It's done. It's water under the bridge. We can't go back. And he says, I should have listened to you. You were always right. You always had a business head on your shoulders, and me, I just, and I was like, dude, it's over. We can't go back. Let it go. Yeah. I'm not mad at you. It's done. I was mad at you then. I'm not mad at you now. You know what I mean? So, and that's That's what happened to the young stallions. We were the next in line to get the straps.
Gotcha, man.
All right, in early 90, you were a mid-card babyface, and then in August of 90, they turned you heel. We've already talked about being teaming up with Hercules. Y'all become Power and Glory. So that was your idea, right? To put that how the office, when you presented the idea and everything, did they like it, or what was their reaction to that?
Well, how it formed was, I was a babyface at the time. Ray was a heel. And I had said to him one day, I go, hey, where are you tomorrow? And I'll just use any state, doesn't matter. So he goes, oh, I'm in Milwaukee. I went, oh, so am I. I said, you want to ride together? He goes, well, you're a babyface, I'm a heel. I go, dude, I'll drop you off, or you could drop me off. You could take the car to the back. I'll walk in the door, and then I'll go out and get my equipment, or I'll just grab my case and whatever. She goes, yeah, sure. I said, okay, great. So we rode, and it worked out. And then we were booked basically the entire month at the same places. So we traveled the whole month together. Well, the good thing about it was Ray was making it on time to every show. And the office loved that. So when I forgot how it came up, but one of the agents had said something, and I said, yeah, I'm riding with Ray. Oh, you're a babyface. I said, you got a kayfabe. I said, nobody's seeing anything. He drops me off a block away. I walk to the building. He drives in the parking lot. Okay, just keep it kayfabe. Well, that got right to the office, of course. It did. So when I got off the road, I jumped in my car. I jetted down to Stanford, went, sat down with Pat, asked them to speak to him, and they never told me no. If I want to talk to Vince, they welcomed me. Talked to Pat, Freddie Blassie, the people in the office. They knew. It was taboo to talk to the females in the office, but they knew I was respectful, so they didn't have to worry that I was going to hit on them. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So it didn't matter to them that I was talking to the girls, because they knew that I would never disrespect them or the business, the office.
Man.
Because they were off limits and taboo. So that was fine.
I love that team. Y'all were awesome.
No, listen, I there's times when that thought will go through my brain, and a lot of times actually, and I go, man, we were best.
Yeah.
We had such a great team. Everybody said it. Everybody knew it. So I sat down with Pat, and I said, Pat, Ray and I are traveling together, right? And he goes, yep. And I said, I've been getting them to the places on time. I told him how we did it, how I get out of the car, nobody sees anything. I said, but I came up with a team. And he goes, what's that? I said, Power and Glory. And he goes, what? I said, Power and Glory. And he looks, he goes, with that shit smile, he goes, I guess I know who the Glory is. Yeah. He's 275 pounds, 6'3". Of course he's the Power, right? I'm 240, 5'11". For lack of a better word, the high flyer, right?
Yeah.
So I said, but here's the caveat of it. It doesn't matter who's in the ring. I always take the pin.
Right.
So if Ray's in the ring and he slams the hell out of somebody, he doesn't pin him. He tags me. I walk in, put my foot on his chest, 1, 2, 3, done. So he goes, okay. And you're going to be, I said, we're going to be healed. We're going to be healed. He goes, all right, let me talk to Caesar. I'll see you guys at TV. So, okay. So we show up. I think it was Iowa. We show up, traveling together, of course. They saw us. Hey, Vince wants you in his office, because he always had a little office. We walked in, and I kid you not, I'd be struck dead if I'm lying. Vince looked at us, said, hey, I heard you, about you guys, blah, blah. What do you want to be? And we didn't miss a beat. It was like we taped it over and over till we got it right. We were on cue, and we said, heels, the same time. And Vince looked and goes, I figured that.
Mm-hmm.
So told him the concept. We went out to the ring, and people cheered us. So he didn't know what to do.
Right.
Yeah. And then it went from music to no music to trying to get more of a babyface team out there, and we beat the hell out of them, and they cheered us. He didn't know what to do. It would have been good to give us Bobby Heenan, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Then he throws Slick in the mix, and it was kind of like a moot point, because they didn't care. They just dug him and me together for whatever reason. So now we go to TV, we go to that pay-per-view or whatever, and they said, okay, Dino Bravo's going to knock you out. The Rocker's going to come in. You're going to get up. They're going to help you up, and you're going to look at them like they jumped you. And then Ray's going to hit the ring, and all hell's going to break loose. So that's what we did. And when we were walking back to the tunnel to go underneath, we were getting threats. Everybody was threatening us. And once we got in away from everybody, that where they could throw stuff and hit us, I turned to Ray, I go, dude, that was scary. And he goes, why? I go, dude, they're talking about murdering us. At me, I go, that's scary shit right there.
Yeah.
I heard people saying they want to kill us. Come on, man. I mean, we got heat, dude. You know? So that's, and then we had the best match of the night, at least according to USA, on the, was it SummerSlam or whatever it was. We brought the house down, with just Marty alone. Marty carried because Sean was hurt. So Ray took his knee out because that was the knee he hurt. So we made it work. And what was really funny was they said, what are you going to do for a finish?
Yes. Oh, man.
And so I said to Ray, I go, dude, we don't have a finish.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, man, we don't. I said, no, we don't. I think we were in Minnesota at the time. So we were driving to the arena. And I go, well, how long before we get there? And I thought he said like an hour or something. So I was like, okay, I got to figure this out, dude. We got to come up with a finish. So I got my fingers on the dashboard. And, like back then, you didn't wear your seatbelt. I mean, you could sit anywhere, And I'm up on that dashboard, and I'm thinking, what can we come up with? Oh, man, we need something, that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So then I go, bingo. I go, Ray, what about this? So I showed him on the dashboard. You go over here, you set him up. I give you, you tag me. I run down to the other side. I'll get up on the top rope. I'll give you a point the finger at you. Just look at me, and we go. And he goes, you think we could do it? I said, Ray, you and I can do anything. I said, all I have to do is size up the length of the guy. I already know you're 6'3". I know where your body's landing. But I can't land on his face. I got to land on his chest. And I'm going to go airborne as you're in midair. So that means I got to jump high and come down. So we told the guys, once we got into the arena, they're like, hey, what are you guys going to do for a finish? So we told them, they're like, there's no way. So we're going to do it. So they all crowd around the monitor. We hit it. And that was it. Done.
Dude, one of the greatest.
Never duplicated.
Amen. One of the greatest finishers ever. Seriously.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsor.
CHW is continuing the legacy of historic professional wrestling in Tennessee with monthly events at the Armory in Ashland City. CHW owner Mike Green has made it his mission to present the best pro wrestling shows in the Nashville area, and he has been delivering the goods. CHW Wrestling combines all the elements that Tennessee wrestling fans have come to expect. Action, suspense, athleticism, reality, stories, surprises, and excitement, all delivered by the finest professional wrestlers this state has to offer. Follow CHW Pro Wrestling on Facebook for the latest news, announcements, and show dates. And subscribe to Championship Productions on YouTube to see past events like the Ashland City Rumble and the Valentine's Massacre. Fun for the whole family with delicious and affordable concessions on site. Witness the action and excitement of CHW in Ashland City at the Armory. Family Wars, Love and Hate, Championship Gold. A CHW event is everything you're looking for in a night of live entertainment.
I know you worked like the Heart Foundation, the Rockers and stuff, but obviously we got to get to this. And I know this has been something that you've talked about before, and you probably know where we're going with it, but you are our first four horsemen that we've ever talked to on this podcast. And obviously you end up joining WCW. So to me, knowing you from Power and Glory, the Young Stallions, you look like a four horseman. Obviously, everything about you look like a horseman. It makes sense. But when you got there, whose idea? How did that go?
So I got a call from, I'm gonna forget his name too. Doesn't matter. It wasn't Tully. It was somebody in the office. I was part owner in World Gym, and they called the phone, and so they gave me the Sabida. Hey, this is so and so. Blah blah blah. Okay. We're interested in bringing you in. We want to make you a horseman. So I said, okay. So, and I'll give you the numbers. So they said, okay, well, you're probably going to wrestle. We're going to bring them back together again. So you're probably going to wrestle maybe twice a month. Max 4 times a month. I said, okay, and we're going to pay you $300. Each match. And I went, okay. And they said, nah, I don't think you quite understand. And I said, what don't I understand? All right, so we're going to make you a horseman. Well, I guess they, expected me to play with myself, because to me, that didn't really mean anything as far as, I knew of them, but I didn't really know, how deep these people were into, calling themselves a horseman.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, wow. Do you walk on air?
They might.
You know what I mean? Because do you not touch the same ground I do? Do you not bleed the same blood? I mean, what the hell? So he goes, no, I don't think you understand. So he goes, listen, make you a four horseman. He goes, and you $300 a match. And I went, are you okay with that? I went, and you're only working like 3-4 times a month, just so you know. Completely understand that. So he says it one more time to me. Hold on. I don't think you understand. Now I'm laughing to myself. Okay. He goes, 3, possibly 4 times a month, only TV. I said, okay. And we're making you a horseman. You're going to be one of the 4 horsemen. Okay. And $100 a match is good. You're good with that? And I said, yes, sir. He goes, okay. I said, all right, great. I said, just send me, the particulars and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now, if I said that to you, a fan of the 4 horsemen, really didn't know much about them, to be honest with you.
Right.
I'm thinking in my head, right? They ran the gambit of, they said Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, we're going to team you up with Arn. They told me, I left that out, but it doesn't matter. But the point I'm getting to is, in my brain, I'm saying to myself, well, hold on. If these guys are putting us back together again, there's going to be a lot of shows we got to go to. A lot of shows. So $300 a match times 100 matches. Calculate the way I figure it is 300,000. No.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So now buy me in. See, I'm good. So I'm booked 3-4 times that month. Right. TV.
Yeah.
No problem. I'm good. I'm home. I got my gym. I got money. I'm good. Another booking sheet. I have what? 10 matches. Buying me in. Paying for my rent-a-car. So it's costing me to eat. Okay. I write that off anyway. That's part of it. So now it picks up, and now it picks up, and now it picks up, and now I'm wrestling, I don't know, 120 times a year. Maybe more now. I'm going overseas, flying in and out for all these different, funny how this is working out. Well, they got wind of that. They figured that out. It didn't take them that much longer. And they go, well, we want to give you a guarantee. Oh, you want to give me a guarantee now? Tossing you out your ass is what it's doing.
Yeah.
So you thought you were outsmarting me. You long-term dumbasses.
Right.
What I did. So Dusty Rhodes, and nobody knows you're coming in. When they see you, they're all going to drop their pants. They're going to just drop. They're done. And I said, fine. I said, nobody knows. So I went into the Omni. I don't know if it's still there in Atlanta. And everybody looked like they saw a ghost. I walked in. I said, hey, anybody know where Dusty is? Like, yeah, he's out in the arena. Their jaws dropped. So I walked out there and I said, hey, Dusty. He goes, who's that? And he turned around. He goes, Paul Roma. Come on over here, baby. Give me a hug. And we walk to each other, and he gives me a big squeeze. He goes, "You look great, baby. You look great. So glad you can make it. Anybody know you here?" I said, "Well, some people saw me walk in." He goes, "Yeah, this is kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe." He goes, "Pretty Paul Roma." Yeah, you know what? That's what I'm going to call you. Pretty Paul Roma. That's you. Called me out on stage. It was Pretty Paul Roma.
Yeah, that's
People
awesome.
weren't too happy because I came from the north.
Yeah.
And they shit on me as far as putting me over as a horseman. And my thing was, listen, I was better than all of them physically. And as far as you want to get down and do this mat wrestling, okay, that's fine. But I'm more into the drop kicks, the leapfrogs, the arm drags. That's me, man. That's my style.
Yeah.
And they put the belts on me and Arn. And Arn and I got along great. I may have done interviews and said some stuff, but we got along great. It was when Rick came around that the shit hit the fan and things got awkward. It was almost like you're married and your ex-wife down and she's in your house staying overnight.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah.
Like, what do you do? And
right.
And she's kind of hitting on you and your wife is sitting right there. You know, and you're sitting there going, "Oh God, somebody make her stop."
Please.
Well, that's the way it was. That's the way it was. It was like, "Oh, well, you know what? Arn is my bitch."
Yeah.
You can't have a relationship with Arn,
right?
And I'm like, "Wow, like grow up." So then I went out in the ring, had a match. I came back in, and Rick goes, "Yeah, we don't do that." I went, "Do what?" He goes, "Horsemen. We don't do that." So I said, "So." You don't want me to cheer Arn when he's getting beat up, and he goes, "No, go over to the pad," and we hit the pad with our hands to get people going. I went, "Oh, okay." So then I come out of another match down the line, and he'd be there. And then it was, "Yeah, horsemen don't do that." And I'm like, "What the do horsemen do?" I want to say to him.
Right.
I mean, like, what is it? What is it that's so special about you guys? And what's funny was we were overseas, and I wrestled Flair for him. He got me in the hold, and I said, "Call the match." He goes, "I'm not calling the match." I said, "You're the veteran. Call the match." He goes, "Not calling the match." I've been here a long time, Rick, because you're the veteran. You got to call the match. I'm not calling the match. So he said, "No, I'm not calling the match." He goes, "We'll just stay here." He waited me out.
Wow.
Waited me out.
Man.
Finally called the spot. What can I do? He wasn't moving.
Oh, man.
Got along with Arn, traveled with Arn. He's a gentleman. Yeah. I saw him and his son at an autograph show. Oh, my God. Are they twins or what?
I know.
Oh, they look, oh, man.
Spitting image. Seriously.
Yeah.
So obviously you're still at WCW, and we've talked about Jim Powers. We talked about Hercules. We've talked about the Horsemen. You know who we got to talk about now. Paul Orndorff. Pretty wonderful, man. What a cool tag team. Now, I don't know your full experience of it exactly, but man, you guys you were like the new Paul Orndorff. You know what I mean? So it was perfect for you two to be together.
Yeah. Yeah. He approached me. I was sitting with my back to the dressing room door, shooting it with the guys. And he walked past me, and then he comes back and he goes, "Hey, how would you like to tag with me?" And I go, "Are you kidding?" And he goes, "No." I go, "Hell yeah." And Orndorff's reaction was, I do it because I love it. And he goes, "Oh, oh, oh, oh." He goes, "Oh, oh, that's so good to hear." So I was like, "Why? What's going on?" So he goes, "Well, they're splitting you and Arn up." And I'm saying to myself, "Well, that's news to me." You turned me on Arn one night, and then that's it. There's no angle, and that was WCW's worst nightmare. They always did stupid things like that. They never drew it out. They just, okay, you're turning heel one night, it's over. You're a heel now. Or hey, you're turning on this guy. It was so bad, But that was Bischoff listening to all these other jabronis, and I call them jabronis because they only wanted what was best for them. Like, I have a wrestling school. You know what I tell my students? You want to come to me with an angle for somebody else? I will listen. If you're going to come to me and start talking to me about you, I'm not listening. It's going in one ear and out the other. Hear about you. I want to hear what's best for my company. That's what I want to hear. What's best for my business? So tell me about other things that are going to make me money, right? Get somebody over. And that was the problem there. So Orndorff comes back and he says, okay, he goes, basically you're turning on Arn and they're going to tag us up. And I went, okay, great. Because, we need a name. And I went, okay. He goes, do you think of a name? I said, oh, give me a minute. I'll think of a name. So he walks away from me. I said, you think of one too? So he goes, I will. So he walks away and I see the number sign and the 1 on the back of his trunks. And it says Durfall.
Yeah.
So I said, Paul. So I got a name. He goes, already? I said, yeah. I said, come here. Well, what do you think? Paul. Durfall. Let's call ourselves Pretty Wonderful. Ooh, 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 ooh. He starts going like that. That's great. Come on, get up. Let's go tell Bischoff. So we walk into and the agent. There was another agent there. I forget who it was. And we said, Pretty Wonderful. That's the name we want. And they ran with it.
That's awesome. Yeah. How would you compare tagging with him to Herc?
2 different styles. 2 super, super great people.
Yeah.
I'm talking about legit. You could leave your wife with them and you never have to worry about harm coming to her. You don't have to worry about disrespect coming to her.
Yeah.
Leave your family with them. They're well protected. They are, I try my hardest. I may slip on occasion, but I try very hard not to talk, putting people in the past. Oh, he used to be a good guy. Well, what changed? Right. He died. He's still a good guy. Right. What changed? So I don't talk like that. So if that comes off a little strange, there's a reasoning as to why.
Makes sense.
So Paul Orndorff is a gentleman. Ray is a gentleman. They are, like I said, you don't get much better than that. I've known Mario Mancini for, he was 18. I was 22. I'm 66.
Wow.
44 years.
Yeah.
And he just turned 18. He is another gentleman. Mario proved his worth on one occasion. He's done it on many, but it was the one occasion. And it may not mean anything to some people, but it meant everything to me. My dad had blood cancer, and he was in the best hospital you could ever be in, which is Yale New Haven Hospital.
Yeah.
So I got a call, and I called Mario. I said, listen, my father needs basically a living will. And he's at Yale right now in the whatever, oncology or whatever the hell he's in. This is where he's at. I said, I'm going there now. If you could draw up the paperwork, that'd be great. And I'll meet you there. So I get in my car. I scurry on over to New Haven. I get there. Okay, where's so-and-so? Oh, he's over here. Okay. I walk in, and who's sitting with him? Mario. And I'm like, how the hell did you beat me, number one? You had to print out the paperwork, number two. You found him, number three. Not that, it's that hard, but, So I was like, wow, and I was so taken back by it. And I said that to him. He goes, Rome. He says, yeah, anything for you. I said, no, you're missing the point, dude. Said you'd be there, and you beat me there. I said, you don't know what that means to somebody like me, and he knows that I will crack anybody that messes with him. I have no reservations about going to jail. If the cause is justified, you're getting cracked. I may be 66, but at the end of the day, can I still take one? Yeah, I think I can. Can I still throw one? Without a doubt. And those are people that are your family. Orndorff took me to his house. I stayed in his home. We were outside at his pool. I was there with his niece, and he trusted me with her. We went on the trampoline. I was showing her things on the trampoline. Ray, his kid's godfather. When Ray passed away, I didn't know. I found out after the fact, and I think that I could be wrong, and I never asked them, and I never even told them. I think his family was very upset with me, but when I left WCW, when I went to Europe and I wrestled for Otto Wanz, when I came home, when I got off the plane, I walked away from wrestling forever, for the most part. So I didn't want anybody to know where I was, and I told people that I was around. I said, listen, people are going to be looking for me. You have no idea where I am. Just tell them you don't know. I know we're friends. It doesn't matter. You tell them you don't know where I am. I don't want to be bothered. I want to get it out of my system. So when it was brought to my attention, I was crushed. I mean, I had a male love for Ray.
Yeah, no doubt.
Not homosexual.
Right.
It was just,
brother.
I would bleed.
Yeah.
I would bleed for him.
Yeah.
That's just, that's just a relationship that we have. And, I can't get to, I'm not supposed to train the way I used to train anymore because it's too taxing. But, when I go to the gym, I still talk to him. I'll dedicate, I'll say, Ray, this one's for you. I'll be struggling. And then he'll be like, I'll be saying, come on, Roma, you got this. And he always did that.
I got chills. I got chills.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's he's always with me.
Yeah.
I'm constantly talking to him. When Orndorff's son put that video up with Paul,
right?
He crushed me, man.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Look, this upsets a lot of people. I try my hardest. I've been to a couple, but I tried my hardest not to go to funerals. I go to the sermon, like you go to church,
right?
But I don't go to see them in the coffin.
Yeah.
I want to remember them as they were.
I agree, man.
That's my belief. So, my dad was cremated. When he passed away, I got down to his house. It was, like 2 a.m. I got down to his house, and when they came in, he had everything set up for himself. He had cremation set up for him. He had, getting picked up set up for him. He had everything. It was one funeral home that he was long time friends with the owners. And the biggest mistake I made was not leaving him. The biggest mistake. When they zipped that bag up, it wrecked me. It wrecked me.
Yeah.
I go to Arlington Cemetery. That's where he is. His ashes are. Talk to him. I pay homage to all of our veterans there. I've cut promos and put them up. But to me, it's very important because I believe in the afterlife.
Right.
So I don't want to talk to you like you're dead.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you like you're here. I just don't see you physically.
You're going to see him again, though. That's the cool part.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk to him now, and I don't see him physically. So I don't want to get off the beaten trail. If I am, I apologize.
You're good, man.
You're fine.
Okay. I want to give you a little scenario, and your listeners can believe what they want. Okay. There's no, I shoot from the hip. I tell the truth, whether you like it or not, whether you like the person or not, I don't care. The truth is the truth. And that's what I do. But there was I went to bed one night and I was talking to my dad, and he's gone. He's passed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, Dad, I was feeling a little sad. And I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to see you soon. I went to sleep on my daughter, my children's lives. That night he came to me and go, you're not next. Now I have an older brother, a younger sister. My baby sister passed away at 30. She had Downs. She was on a ventilator or a breathing. The breathing mask that you wear. And she didn't wear it that night, and she stopped breathing. So I do believe that they can hear us. I do believe that you keep them alive. It's people that put you under and dismiss you are the ones that don't believe that you're still there. It's your soul, your spirit, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So that's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate to get too spiritual because I don't want people to like me.
I love it. Well, it's impossible.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey, this guy makes sense. I dig this guy. That's all I need. People start liking me. What the hell could happen?
Kills your heat. Totally. Man.
It does kill my heat.
Paul, this has been incredible. First of all, we can't thank you for your time so much, man. This has been awesome. We have one more question. It's a very important one. Sheik, take it away, brother.
All right, Paul. So if you look back on your career and you had an amazing career, you big names, you wrestled several big names, too many to count. But if you had a favorite match that you were ever a part of, what would that match be?
Woo. Okay. So single, right?
Sure.
Yeah, well, you go however you want it.
So I would have to venture to say that it was a tag match against the Rockers with Hercules and myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Such chemistry.
It was like it was a night off.
Yeah.
I mean, we worked, but we didn't work. It was a night off. It was fun.
Yeah.
Wrestling should be fun. It shouldn't be hard work. These kids today and these guys today, my God, they're taking 100 bumps a match for what? It doesn't make sense.
Some of the scariest bumps in the world, too.
Oh, my goodness.
No doubt.
Yeah. So,
no doubt.
But, this is a great show. You guys have been great. Great questions.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That means a lot.
The big thing that we have to remember is
Captain's Corner, September 20th, Canada Slam
September
Fest.
20th Slam Fest. Yep.
That's right.
Got a ton of guys.
Yeah.
And
ton
women,
of
right?
Women. Yeah, all of you. Yeah. All of you. The Montreal Wrestling Convention, Hotel Ruby Foos, 7655 Descaries Boulevard. You'll see the Godwins, Barry Windham, so many great stars, but you'll also see our awesome guest today, the one and only Paul Roma. Paul, it's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man. Listen, you want to ask one more? Shoot. I got, you guys are great.
Okay, Quinton, what do you got, brother? You got one you want to ask him?
Yeah, I want to go way, way back. And when you and Powers were first starting to get going, I saw where y'all worked a team called the Shadows a lot. Was that Jose Luis Rivera and Randy Colley, Moondogs Rex?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably, other than the Nasty Boys, who I like, that was probably one of the hardest, or probably the hardest tag team to work with, because, I get it. You're getting tired of getting beat every night. I get it. But, they weighed a ton. Jose, he come out and he could do his thing. When he wanted to be lazy, he was lazy. But Colley was, oh God, he was so heavy and lazy all the time. I don't blame him. Like, he's an older guy. We're young kids, right?
Right.
And this veteran has to put us over. But at the end of the day, you're under a mask. Who cares? Nobody knows it's you.
Well,
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you weren't going anywhere. They threw the team together to put people over, right? I mean, that's really what the function was. But, again, Randy was always nice to me. Jose, always nice to me. There were some guys that I didn't trust. I wouldn't trust. And there were guys that were not nice to others and nice to me. And, after all the years went by, I said, oh, I get it. They either feared you or they respected you. And if they didn't have either, then they picked on you or, did things to you, played ribs on you. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I was in a great position. Having Fuji as my mentor, that was a blessing.
Speaking of ribs,
I met some wonderful people. What?
Speaking of Fuji, ribs, you said ribs, and then you said Fuji. That's like synonymous, right?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
His dog.
Yeah. Oh, we know that story. Oh my goodness, man. Oh yeah. I think John Nord.
A lot in there, doesn't it?
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Stiff, right? Is that what it's called? Stiff?
Oh boy, I'll tell you what. No one's going to top that one.
Yeah. Well, that would be a good one to leave us with. Do you remember any of the ribs from Fuji that you saw? Maybe not that stiff.
Okay, so Fuji calls me to the front, and he hands me a bottle of fingernail polish, and he wants me to paint someone's nails, which, okay, no, I have no problem with that. Everybody's sleeping on the plane, so it's no big deal. Well, he goes, paint his nails. Well, I turn and look over my right shoulder, and it's Don Morocco.
Oh.
And I look at Fuji, I go, Fuji, no, please. anybody but him. And I go, I'm not doing it. He goes, "Oi, you do as Uncle say." And I went, okay. He goes, "You want to graduate?" That was his thing. I had to graduate.
Yeah.
So you got to do different things. You have to graduate. So, okay. So I take the nail polish, I take the brush out, and I'm shaking, painting his fingernails. Because I'm kind of looking at him, hoping he doesn't feel it and wake up.
Right.
So now I paint him. I give the bottle back to Fuge, and I skedaddle back, to Coach.
Yeah.
And I lay down. There's a lot of seats. I mean, the plane's full of wrestlers, but there's a lot of open seats for the most part. So all of a sudden I go, and I smell, and I go, what the hell? Well, I smell nail polish. So I had gone to sleep. So I sit up, and somebody painted a couple of my nails, only a couple. So I went, that Fuji, that bastard, he painted my nails, right? Because he had the nail polish. So now I'm like, okay, I got to get this off. So I get up, I go walk into the back, and there's Don Morocco. So I'm like, "Hey, Don, what's up?" So he goes, he looks at Don, and he shows me his nails. He goes, "Somebody painted my nails." And I showed him, I went, "Yeah, they got me too, Don." It's like that. And I was like, thank God Fuji painted my nails, because he'd never think it was me.
Right.
It took me probably 20 years, 25 years. We brought him on a podcast, and I told him I was the one who painted him.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I said, "Dude, I've been holding this in for 25 years, but you're in Hawaii. I got to tell you." And I let him have it.
What did he say?
Nothing. He was cool about it.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. Right. Yeah. That's funny.
That's a harmless rip.
That is amazing. Paul, this has been incredible. Go check you out. Canada Slam Fest. See Paul Roma and so many other stars. Thank you, sir, for this. It's been incredible. Thank you.
Yes, it has. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. God bless.
Have a good night.
You too, buddy. Appreciate
it. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. That was the one and only Paul Roma. We'll be right back to wrap things up with Sheik and Quinton after these messages.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Listen up, you bunch of slack-jawed flea market freeloaders. If you think you know Memphis wrestling, you don't know nothing till you've heard the Retro Wrestling Review podcast, brother. Every week they're talking the real stuff. Lawler Jarrett, PG-13, yeah, and even my Moondogs. Watch along, stories from the road, interviews with folks who were in the thick of it, brother. The blood, the beer, and the bail money. It's all on the Wrestlecopia Podcast Network. Go to uswapodcast.com, or I'll come down there and I'll slap the taste out of your mouth.
The Moondogs are howling, the Moondogs are howling, the Moondogs are vicious and mean. Tonight the Moondogs are looking for trouble, and you can hear it in their scream. So stay out of the swamp, 'cause the full moon is shining big and bright, and you might run into a moondog and meet your bleeding wife.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices, and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Oh, Sheik and Quinton, man, Paul Roma, wow. He even gave us extra questions and everything, and we even got Fuji ribs out of it. We didn't even plan for that one. That was awesome, guys. Good job. Sheik, man, what'd you think about that?
I loved it. Loved it. It was I didn't, when he gave us the extra questions, I went to ask him about the action figure possibilities he had. I know he had the Power and Glory, like Zombie Sailor, Hasbro style figures, and I wanted to ask him a little more, but I mean, he'd already gave us a couple extra questions when I kind of thought of it, so I was like, we'll let it go. We're not pushing.
Yeah, I know. I felt
bad. Great interview though.
Yeah, I felt bad because I heard you like go, and then I was like, yeah, there's nothing I can do to come back to it.
It's all right.
Yeah. What'd you think, Q?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. What really shocked me was to learn that he didn't know anything about wrestling. He wasn't a wrestling fan.
Yeah. He was one of those guys. But you know, the thing about it is, in the ring, he was so athletically gifted that it almost was crazy to me how talented he was in the ring, and to have been, you know, not a fan, you know.
Yep.
And dude, that finisher, I just went and watched after we did the interview, I went and watched a compilation of them, Power and Glory, doing that finisher, and I think we were all three licking our chops to hear about that.
Oh yeah.
What a great finishing move, man. Seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Superplex into I guess what is that? Just a splash, and then
Yep.
Yeah, man, beautiful finishing move. Great career. You know, once again, guys, do your best. Go meet him September 20th, Montreal, Canada, at Canada Slam Fest at the Montreal Wrestling Convention, Hotel Ruby Foos, 7655 Descaries Boulevard. You can see Barry Windham, the Godwins, Bronwyn Billington, Mario Mancini, Paul Roma, and so many more. Tell our buddy Captain's Corner that Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling sent ya. Guys, we got something next week, and yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is. But the best way to find out is at GMBMPW on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Guys, if you already follow us, if you already share our stuff, we greatly appreciate it and can't thank you enough. But if you don't, come on, help us out. Share one thing. Tell a friend about it. If you have a friend that loves pro wrestling, that loves the real old school good pro wrestling, let them know about Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. If you have a friend that likes a Jim Cornette podcast or likes a Conrad podcast, let them know about us. I think if they listen to us and give us a try, heck, maybe they'll listen to that one episode. But seriously, thank you all so much for the support you do give us, sharing, liking, all that. We can't thank you enough. And guys, y'all got anything else?
Nothing. I don't think so.
All right. Quinton?
Go buy a shirt.
You daggone right. Thank you, Q. Yes, that is on Pro Wrestling Tees, and you can find all the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling t-shirts and more on there. Help us out, y'all. Go buy a t-shirt, man. It ain't that much. You spend more on your food at McDonald's these days, man. Buy a t-shirt. Help some poor wrestling fans out, guys.
I thought you were going to go Ric Flair there for a second. Be like, you spill more on spilt liquor.
Yeah. None of our listeners do that kind of thing, Jared. What are you saying? No, that would have been good, and I missed that opportunity, and thank you for showing that I brought. Yeah, I messed that up. But anyway, yeah, guys, thank y'all so much for the ones that have bought shirts, but for the ones that aren't, you're looking pretty naked without one, so nobody wants to see that. But anyway, guys, for Paul Roma, the Plastic Sheik Jared Street, the Territory Wrestling Guru Quinton Quarisma, and myself, this has been Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. We'll see y'all next time.
Don't forget.
Legion of Doom, you got a problem with Power and Glory? Well, it'll be taken care of at WrestleMania 7.
That's right, Legion of Doom. It seems you have a real problem trying to stand on your own 2 feet.
If you think you got a problem now, when you feel the power and know the glory, your problems are only just beginning.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
This has been a James Rock Street production.